VeganNation is a cruelty-free cryptocurrency. Vegan coin is the fuel that drives a global vegan ecosystem. The day-to-day needs of hundreds of millions of people will be met on the blockchain-based decentralised marketplace. VeganNation, alongside Vegan Coin, will empower humanity to move towards a more conscious and ethical future. VeganNation strongly believe that a designated coin will not only unite vegans, but empower the community, creating a force to be reckoned with. A strong and united community will be able to have a bigger impact on pressing global issues and make the vegan lifestyle more approachable and attainable. Today's talk, Blockchain as Trust, We Are VeganNation, introduces the concept of a vegan cryptocurrency and their place within the bigger picture, realising a vegan future. If we could all make welcome Scott Dunning.
Thank you very much for that introduction, and thank you all for coming down. I couldn't agree with more of those sentiments that it really is an exciting time to be vegan, and I think we'll touch on some of that in this presentation. To give you a bit of background about me, some of you may know me, some of you may not. My name's Scott Dunning. I used to have a vegan cafe called Rock & Co, and I guess that started where, my background is really in the industrial sort of sales and marketing and ops management kind of roles, and then I found that my values just weren't aligned with what I was doing, so I said, bugger it, I'm going to quit and see what I can do. In fact, I think the last time I did a presentation, kind of like this, with good old PowerPoint or just like Google Slides, was to Western Power to talk about a new range of HRC2 compliant safety wear, so that gives you a bit of background. Good point. At any point during this presentation, if you go to the URL up there, the Google one, you can just log on there, and if you think of any questions as I'm doing this presentation, you can put that in there, and at the end, we'll go over them, and if you've got any questions around blockchain, VeganNation, Vegan Coin, as you're thinking, you can put them up, and we might cover it during the talk, but we'll go through it all at the end. So I guess, where was I? Talking about the Rock & Co side of things. So yeah, my way to sort of make a positive change around me was to, start this vegan food business, which I know some of you have been in and purchased some stuff from me. I guess in March 2017, I was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma, and what became super apparent was that I just couldn't keep bashing out 80 hours a week in the kitchen. And so luckily we found a buyer for the business, which happened to be Loving Hut. So it was really cool to get, keep that vegan sort of continuum going in Fremantle. During that time off, I said, you know what, I'm going to study things that I'm into. I've always been attracted to, things that cause disruption, and kind of try and break the power that, the 1% kind of have. And I really found Bitcoin and blockchain maybe had a solution to that. So yeah, I spent a lot of time really getting into the mechanics of it, and thought, you know what, someone should really invent a vegan coin. And I thought, oh, this could be my crazy next idea. And after a quick Google, found that, someone else already had. And that was these guys. And that was about 6 months ago, and we touched base, had a chat, and I was super impressed by their value system, their beliefs, their aims of spreading veganism across the world. This is a company that started off in Israel only 2 years ago. I feel like Australia was totally off the radar. This is the first time in Australia, let alone Perth, that anyone's sort of kind of hearing about VeganNation and the vegan coin in this kind of sort of interaction. And yeah, that's kind of where I am now. So I guess we'll get into the presentation, but just to give you a bit of a background of me and how I got involved. Alright, so what is VeganNation? VeganNation is a community empowered by blockchain technology to help the vegan lifestyle around the world. We are here to unite vegans from around the world into one global community. And the nation, when I think of the word nation, I normally, associate nations with geography, kind of heads of state, kind of things like that. But really, a nation is a group of people with shared ideas and values. And a nation is only as strong as its economy, and an economy is only as strong as its currency. So, what is vegan coin? So the currency that's going to power this economy, this ecosystem is the vegan coin. It's a digital currency, and together with the many general benefits of cryptocurrency, what the vegan coin does provide is the transparency, the immutability, which and the validity, which I guess is super important from the vegan community. You guys will know by using this token, you're using a currency that's only been used to support other vegan businesses. We'll get into that a bit later on when we talk about the app and the pillars. But I guess if you pull out I was actually going to bring a $20 note, but I don't have cash to sort of say, you pull out a $20 note, and there's an element of rennet in that already. Just from a pure physical point of view, to make the note slippery, there's animal product in that. We don't have a choice to do anything with that. But also, on top of that, you don't know where that $20 has been. Has that $20 been down to, I don't know, Joe's Butcher to buy 20 bucks worth of sausages, and you kind of, you know in yourself that doesn't feel right. But I guess this is where the transparency of the vegan coin is. That it's only going to be used for companies that share the same ethics, values, and mindsets as yourself. And yeah, going on from what Danielle said, veganism is trending. It's been becoming increasingly popular. There's an estimated amount of 300 million vegans around the world, and 1.2 billion vegetarians. And the numbers just keep on rising. What's really interesting is if approximately, say, 1, maybe 2% of the vegan community started transacting with vegan coin, that's actually the same amount of users that are using Bitcoin, which is, if we start talking about mass adoption and stuff like that, which we'll have a bit of a talk about later, that's kind of phenomenal. The fact that there's already a community in the world is probably, regardless of, if you were purely interested in it from a cryptocurrency point of view, the vegan coin is attractive because the community is already there. It's just tapping into that. Going on from that, in China alone, there's 50 million vegans. That's 5%. Vegan food sales have gone through the roof. Costco, Walmart, all these guys, they know that by 2020, the vegan food market is going to reach $5.2 billion. And locally we've seen that in Woolies and Coles, IGA, and everyone else has more vegan options. Everyone here, I believe, would know the benefits for our health and for our environment in embracing a vegan lifestyle. And I guess the rest of the world is starting to learn that as well. China has a plan for their own health for the next 10 years to reduce meat consumption by 50%. And people like Bill Gates put $250 million into companies like Beyond Meat, Impossible Foods, etc. So veganism is on the rise, but you know what? It's still not always easy. It's really still not easy. At this point in our timeline, we're still going against the grain. I feel like major cities around the world are quite vegan friendly, but the hardships of being a vegan are still abundant, as products can be pricey. Even more so when you kind of get out of the urban environment, they can be scarcer. Stores that specialise in cruelty-free products and restaurants serving vegan food get rarer as you move further away out of the city. I've got a statistic here that 70% of vegans quit the lifestyle in the first year because they're not getting the social support they need. And this does result in veganism sometimes being considered as a lifestyle that's arduous to sustain, and putting off a lot of people that may want to get involved. I can, as someone who's run a vegan business, I guess, and has operated at whether it be a cafe environment or even music festivals. Music festivals is always a good one. You get people that are just loving the fact that you're there, and then other people that are like, oh, what, no meat, sort of thing. And also, something as simple as last night, after we finished up here, we went and checked out Forest Chase. I was wearing this t-shirt. After Forest Chase, I met up with some people at Pika Bar, and you know, what is it, a 5-minute walk between Forest Chase and Pika? And there was this random guy who was kind of like, you know, me and Hayley were talking about how the day went, and he just kind of kept, you know, getting near us. And then sort of said, oh, look, mate, you know, I don't want to impose my views on you. And I'm thinking, yeah, but you are. You're not one of those militant vegans, are you? You know, I do athletics, and, you know, I think I need to get my meat, I need to get my protein and my iron from meat. And, you know, you're putting your voice into everyone's head. And I'm like, you're kind of doing that now, you know, and, you know, everyone's had an experience like that, but I just found it interesting that, you know, we're talking about this, and, you know, we felt really inclusive and safe in an environment where you're surrounded by people that share the same ideas, and it only takes a 5-minute walk to realise the rest of the world actually isn't like that. So the whole idea of VeganNation is to make it easy, you know, to get that mass adoption up, to get people to start using like the vegan coin as a cryptocurrency, but more importantly, get people to start adopting veganism as a mainstream thing. And the way we're going to do this is by, you know, creating an ecosystem of like the vegan community that's based on 3 pillars, yeah? So the first pillar is a social media platform. So, you know, there'll be one place that you can go to get all the vegan content you need, whether it be blogs, news, recipes, things like that. There's opportunities to like earn like points that can be converted into vegan coin for quality engagement, whether that be like posts on like blogs or sharing events, things like that. You know, we're already like cooperating with like world-renowned bloggers to get the message out there. If you look on the advisory board, there's a couple. We'll have a video of Jordan Flynn because he's I'm a bit of a fanboy of him, but there's also like some like world-renowned bloggers that are, you know, getting on board as well. And the whole idea is just user-generated like recommendations to help vegans maintain their lifestyle wherever they are, you know. And again, it's creating that safe, inclusive environment where you're not going to see things that you're not interested. You're going to be hearing about like vegan events, and the incentive to post quality stuff is the reward of vegan coin. It's kind of, I guess, going back to that statistic about 70%, you know, like it's all about creating that support and that help in the community. The second side of it, which is really cool, and this is kind of how this whole thing came about. Like the CEO, Isaac Thomas, he happened to be, he was on a cycling trip in Austria and could not find a place to eat some vegan food. But yeah, you could see all these houses, yeah, and he would be like, I'm sure one of those houses would appreciate the predicament I'm in and give me some vegan food kind of thing. So, you know, he came up with this idea of like an Airbnb sort of like setup for sharing food or couch surfing for food. And you know, this is kind of where the VeganNation whole premise came from, you know. The world's population is already doing this, like with like your homes and your cars. So it just kind of makes sense to do the same thing with food. So as one of the pillars in here, you know, as a member, you're able to either create an event where people can come and sit down and share your meal, or you can set it up as a takeout, you know. So almost decentralizing like the vegan restaurants around. Now, as someone who's come from like a vegan sort of cafe, like the first thing I think is, oh shit, no one's going to come to my shop anymore, you know. But we had a good, you know, the more you think about it, like Airbnb hasn't killed off the hotel industry, and you know, Marriott's opening 11,000 new hotels next year. Plus, you know, you're never close enough to a vegan restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter where you are, there's always like a distance you have to travel. So decentralizing it just makes total sense. And I don't know about you guys, but I really do like enjoy sharing like vegan food with people. Yeah, it's one of the coolest things that you can do, I think. And then there's the e-commerce side of things, right? So, you know, there's an app, you can buy things, there's a whole heap of cruelty-free, you know, things like other than food, yeah? So there's cosmetics, there's accessories, you know, you name it, footwear. And to be on the platform, you have to be a vegan business, you know? We have interesting discussions on how vegan do you have to be a vegan business, you know, because there are a lot of like vegetarian restaurants that, all vegetarian and maybe mainly vegan. But what the consensus is, that's not good enough at this stage. We want 100% vegan businesses. And what's been really cool from my perspective is when I've gone out to talk about to other businesses to get them on board and become a partner, the one thing, like even if there's no knowledge of cryptocurrency, blockchain or anything like that, or who the hell is VeganNation, who are these people, when you start talking about it's only vegan businesses that are on there, their eyes light up, because it's kind of hard nowadays if you're a vegan business to stand out now, because everyone's sort of offering vegan options. For people that, I guess, aren't, in business for their own ethical and moral reasons, veganism is another market to reach out to, whereas people that are only in there for as a vegan product kind of business, there's no other market to really reach out to, So this is a great way to sort of highlight to the world that, I'm a vegan business, support me, I've got products. And we'll see some stuff on a video on the app, but what's really cool, for example, some of the businesses we've signed up, Quokka Cakes today, earlier on this week, Noshing Naturally, Loving Heart, Treetop Gifts down the road. So they're, this is really cool for them. I feel like these guys make really cool vegan tote bags, tea towels, stuff like that. But by signing up as a partner, that suddenly exposes them to vegans all over the world, So if you can post something, it's a really cool thing. If you've got a digital service where you can easily get that to anyone across the world. I think the best thing about the business side of things, I'm probably going into it on the slide, but it doesn't cost anything. So anyway, all right. So this is the blockchain side of things. Now, I could honestly talk about blockchain for at least an hour. I don't think you guys want to hear that, But the platform, what is really important is that the platform, the VeganCoin, is on the Ethereum blockchain, which basically means we've got smart contracts, authenticity and transparency, which is what the main part is to, the vegan society. I guess a really nice analogy is, everyone's probably heard that Paul McCartney kind of quote, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be vegetarian, vegan kind of thing. Well, blockchain and cryptocurrencies in general is the glass house for the finance side of things, because every transaction is transparent, and it's there forever, and I think that is one of the coolest things about blockchain. Whether it be VeganCoin, whether it be Steam It, whether it be even Dogecoin, or even other uses of blockchain technology. I was talking to someone, like Todd actually, last night at Forest Chase, and we were just talking about blockchain. See, I'm already going into my hour rant on blockchain. And one of the things we discussed was how, in certain countries where there's, you might buy land, right? And the oppressive government says, you don't have that land, and rips the deed off in front of them kind of thing. And, there is no more proof that they own that land. If that land is, the sale, the transaction is documented on the blockchain, there's no way that could ever be removed, So that is actually a burgeoning thing, which I didn't even realize was an application. So, yeah, like I said, I could go on about blockchain all day. So yeah, I guess this is kind of, the whole idea of this is to unite this incredible community, we're 300 million people strong throughout the world. We're probably the most decentralized community in the world. Everyone is doing their own thing. Whatever way you want to be vegan, you be vegan, but there's no one uniting sort of factor other than we want to see a more compassionate world, a more cruelty-free world. We want to see an environment that isn't wrecked by our, non-compassionate choices of others. And I guess, for me, that makes sense. If there's such a decentralized community, it makes sense to have a decentralized currency. And once, if we start talking about cryptocurrency, I guess the thing that is, taking sort of, which is the next phase in that, if you like, is the mass adoption side of things, it's kind of ubiquitous now that we pay with PayPass, for example, or it's ubiquitous that every single business has a website, where it was only in the 90s, where you know, you had to have if you had a website, they know you're in the internet game and you're making money, you know. But now it's ubiquitous. So I think in 20 years' time, like, you know, dealing with cryptocurrencies will be the same things, because it takes that power away from the banks and the institutions and makes things transparent and immutable. The coolest thing is there's no community that's poised like better than the vegan community to bring cryptocurrency to mass adoption, but even better, like tailing that is to get more people to get on board the veganism train. Because I don't know, I always find people are like lightning. They just find the easiest path to anything. So the easier you make something, the more attractive you make something, people get into it. After all that, the next question is, how do I get involved? So I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with like cryptocurrencies and ICOs and things like that, but typically how they work is they raise funds first before the coins launch, and once they reach their target, that's when they launch the coin. So for VeganNation and Vegan Coin, the soft cap, which is the minimum they need to meet, is $10 million. They've met 7.5 already, and I don't think it'll be too far until they've reached their target. The reason I'm doing this presentation and not Isaac is he's the CEO of the company, is because at the last minute an investor from London said, look, we're talking about like investing $5 million into this, but we need to meet, and so he had to cancel the trip. Where we are at this point is in the private sale mode, which is essentially not restricted to anyone, but it's more restricted to an amount. So like the minimum amount that you can like buy vegan coin at the moment is $1,000. At launch, one vegan coin will be worth 50 cents. The benefit of buying now before the public sale is like you get like good bonuses. So if like say for example you get $1,000 of vegan coin, you get a 20% bonus. So at launch, instead of 2,000 coins, that's 2,400. At $5,000, it's a 50% bonus. So that instead of 10,000 coins, that's 15,000 coins. And I'm not here to, you know, get anyone to sign up or anything like that. I'm just letting you know that it's there, and if you do want to get involved, you can just check the website, talk to me, any of this stuff. Come April the 30th is the public sale. Now, when any crypto is in ICO stage and they're getting to the public sale side of things, you know it's kind of getting ready to launch. They normally start with big institutional investors, then get to the private sale, then get to the public sale, and then it's ready to launch. The benefit of a public sale is you can buy one coin if you want. You know, you can buy two, it doesn't matter. You can buy whatever you want, but you'll be securing it at 50 cents prior to launch date. The thing about the public sale is the incentives have gone then. So, you know, if you do have an amount of like money that you do want to sort of purchase vegan coin in, and it sort of meets those previous parameters, then that's the time to kind of get on board. Otherwise, if you want to buy like one, there's nothing stopping you come April the 30th. And again, all that information is on the website, VeganNation.io. My email address will come up here, you can send me and I'm happy to talk further about it as well. That's from an individual point of view, right? If you're a business, you can get involved as well. So all the businesses that are on the app, they're highlighted, you know, I'm really stoked that already like we've got about 8 businesses in WA that have got on board in the space of a week because they see the benefit of it, you know, they see the benefit of being part of a vegan-only ecosystem. And from a business point of view, it costs nothing. It absolutely costs nothing. You don't have to pay any fee to sign up. You're not obligated to stay part of the thing. It's just, you know, what will happen is when the coin is launched, you know, you accept vegan coin, but you can do with that what you wish. You could trade it for other cryptos. You could trade it for US dollars. But, you know, ideally you keep it within the, you know, the ecosystem to grow the value of that. Let's see, because this is a really cool video to show you how it works. That's okay. Again, that video is on loop downstairs as well. Come and check it out. And yeah, what's really cool is like for this weekend, we're doing a special offer at the Expo where any vegan business that does sign up, we're going to donate 500 vegan coin to Possum Belly, which is equivalent to $250, you know. And I think yesterday we had 5 businesses sign up, so that's 2,500 vegan coin, which is $1,250, which is going straight to them to, you know, keep going with their good work. So that's pretty cool. And hopefully, if we get another 5 today, you know, that ends up being 12 times 5, 6,000 vegan coins. You know, $3,000, which is cool as. Yeah. So I guess if you do have any more questions, feel free to send me an email. Check out the website. There's some really cool documents on the website. So if you really want to get into like where the funds that are raised, where it gets spent, who gets it, everything like that, there's a green paper on there that's like 30 pages long. So it's a fair bit of reading, but it's really cool. There's also like a 3-pager kind of summary, which also gives probably enough info. Now, because I've changed screen, I don't know if the question. Did anyone actually send any questions through? Oh.
Yeah, there's heaps.
There's heaps?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. All right, let's let me just, we're gonna do it like this.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, there's heaps. All right, I'll kind of look over here because it's up there. Can we trade VeganNation cryptocurrency yet? No. Once it's launched, you will be able to trade it, but at the moment it's buying the token, which, like I said, from a private sale, you buy a minimum of $1,000. Public sale, you can buy any amount, but it's a token until the actual coin is launched, and then you can trade it, you know. How is the value of vegan coin defined? Well, that's a good question. Can I ask who asked that question? Do you mean like from a monetary point of view?
Yeah, like how against like Australian or US dollar, like how would you find, like you said that one coin was the value of, was it 50 cents?
US dollars, yeah.
50 US cents?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do they come up with that figure is basically what I'm saying. How would that change as well?
See, how they came up with that figure is more like, the other thing about cryptos is they're usually capped, right? So fiat money, as in government money, you can keep printing money and it kind of, you know, fluctuates in value in some respect. But, you know, cryptocurrency is capped. So there'll only ever be like 1 trillion coins released, which, same with Bitcoin, I don't have a number, but they're always capped. So with that in mind, they use that in conjunction with like where they want to put the funds, and they determine the launch price. You know, you kind of determine the launch price based on a number of factors, but you know, you want to make it accessible. You don't want to make it like too cheap. You don't want to make it too expensive. As far as where it will go, like it's kind of speculative. Like the reality is, any cryptocurrency is speculative. My feeling is like once it launched, it'll go up considerably. It'll probably drop again. But I also believe that there's enough community behind it, so it'll continually evolve and grow, you know. So, you know, there might be some up and downs, but between point A and point B, there's like a nice kind of increase. And I go back to the whole like 90s with the .com side of things. Like what became apparent was, you know, if you didn't have a product, you know, it went to shit, you know. Like you could be all good having a like internet business, but if you didn't have a product that delivered value, it'd be worth nothing. Same with the cryptocurrency side of things. You know, if you don't have a product that delivers value to the people that are buying the coin, then it's going to turn to shit. So, are we going to wrap time? Yep. Okay, cool. How would a business versus a consumer get involved? Okay, I think I answered that, right? Who asked that question? Okay. I think I answered that with the whole public sale, private sale, and the business thing. Would vegan coin be on the stock market? Not on the stock market as such, but it would be on like other trading platforms like Bittrex, Poloniex, things like that. But again, they aren't traded until it's launched, yeah? Vegan Point seems like a good idea. I guess that's a food sharing platform. How would it make popular the point to the point it's like Uber Eats or Airbnb? Who asked that question about the food sharing point? No? I'm not sure. I think in regards to how to make it popular, I think you just kind of start doing it, and it'll evolve. You know, it'll be similar to like Airbnb, where there's like a rating system. So you know, you kind of describe the experience you had at Scott's house meeting is like vegan chili con carne or whatever, and they'll sort of return the favour. So I think that's how it will grow. So I'll just scroll down a bit here. If I'm already a host in Airbnb, can I sign up to VeganNation? Yeah, no worries. Nothing's affiliated there, but yeah, you can sign up to VeganNation. How do you spend vegan coin? Who will accept it? I feel like I can't answer that, but if not, I'll go over it. Like, as far as the vegan coin, you can use it to transact on businesses that are already on the network, not a problem. Users that are on the network, you can send and receive very easily. Customers or suppliers that you scan their QR code and you can deliver like vegan coin to them as well. I do have the app on my phone, and I was actually going to suggest if anyone's got like Android phone, the app is available for download now. Technically it's still in beta, yeah, but you can have a bit of a play around with it, get a feel for it. But how far the app's developed already in 3 weeks has been amazing. So if you have a bit of a play around and it's not quite up to your expectation, I probably don't stress too much because they're continually developing it. How does it work with businesses and ATOs and tax returns, etc.? That's a really good question, and I guess it's no different in that respect to if you were like an Airbnb host, you have to comply with whatever regulations. If you were in relation to how to declare like income from cryptocurrency as a business is an interesting one, and I don't know if I could answer that, but what is happening is with any of this stuff, it's kind of like the company that is innovating is ahead of the curve, and then the regulators catch up. That always seems to be the things, and like how regulators work in general, they're just slow, whereas the companies that are kind of creating the innovation, they're just more agile. I think that's it. Yeah. Is there any other questions? Yeah?
Is it a work proof of stake?
Yeah, good question. It's on the Ethereum network. So Vegan Coin's based on the Ethereum network, which is, I believe, is proof of work. However, I have heard they're changing to proof of stake, and that's a really cool question. And if you ever want to get into like how like blockchain works and cryptocurrencies, that concept is how the transaction's getting validated. And the concern with proof of work, right, is whilst it's completely like a great way to validate the transaction, there's an energy cost associated with that. The hardware that's required to make the computations and calculations puts out a lot of like energy requirements. The companies that are only involved in mining are either set up in places like Iceland and that, or places where there's cheap electricity. Proof of stake is a way to kind of get around that, and I believe Ethereum is heading towards that. So, yeah. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know it's very hard, I feel, to get like the message behind this out in an hour or 45 minutes or whatever. I spent a lot of time like researching and studying like the science, the technology, and everything behind it. And everything just kind of aligned with my values. It's a great experience for me. And I guess, if you want to talk more, learn more, we're downstairs. We'll be here till 4 o'clock. Thanks very much for your time. Cheers.